Do Japanese people express what is on their mind, or do they hesitate to do so? Is it just the Japanese, or is it an Asian thing? I did a bit of asking around to my Japanese students about whether they express their opinions clearly, and if they say what is on their minds. Most of them say that they will express what is on their minds to their family members, but maybe not to others, out of consideration that it might hurt the other person's feelings. In my years here in Japan, I haven't been particularly inconvenienced in any way, because I would ask directly if I didn't understand something. Perhaps because I am not a Japanese, they would laugh and answer me too. My nephew and his friends visited me here in Kobe this week. They took a trip to Awaji Island to see the whale cruise and to cycle. Since they are here in Japan, I thought I would give them 2 scenarios about speaking their own minds and ask them what they would do. I believe that things are changing in Japan with the new generation. Working from home, taking leave to care for children, and changing jobs are some of the changes happening slowly but surely. Please subscribe if you enjoy the video.
To Little Malayan. Today I have some Singaporeans visiting me here in Kobe, and this is my nephew Ishan, and I did an interview with him a few months ago. So if you did not watch that video, please check out this video. Okay, so I will ask them to introduce themselves.
はじめまして、Ishan です。So this is my many times in Japan, and I'm glad to be back in Japan again.
Hi, my name is Kai Xiang, and this is my 3rd time being in Japan.
你好，我的名字是钟伟，钟伟。This is my first time in Japan.
Hello, I'm Victoria. This is also my first time in Japan.
Okay, so Ishan, so you have been to Japan many times.
Yes.
And so last year you came and you went to Sapporo for skiing. Did your skiing improve?
Yeah, it definitely did. So I came to Japan last year with Uncle Hiro, and we went to ski in Sapporo, and it was a very good experience because I had to use this opportunity to show Uncle Hiro that I have improved in my skiing abilities, and I think he saw that I've improved as well, and we managed to ski many slopes down in a very short period of time. And I enjoyed my time in enjoying the snow in Hokkaido. It was very good. So really had a good time there.
Okay. And what about Kai Xiang? You came here, like this is your 3rd time?
Yes, this is my 3rd time.
So what made you like come back so many times in a year?
I've always been fascinated by all its cultures, more towards the historical side, so I've always wanted to just explore around Japan. So I've been to Osaka, Tokyo, Hiroshima, and I'm planning to move towards Sendai and Aomori for this particular trip.
Do you speak Japanese?
Barely. Very, very, very minimal Japanese.
But so far you didn't experience like any difficulty without the language?
Not much. I can read basic hiragana, katakana, and kanji. So it was not really a very big issue for me to travel around, but trying to have a proper conversation with a local Japanese, that seems to be a problem.
Okay. And what about Chongwei and Victoria? You just came like here one day?
2 days. 3rd day.
Okay,
Yeah,
so any impression?
Impressions, actually I would say quite similar to Singapore in terms of like maybe because we have been to like the city area, so like more Tokyo and Osaka, yeah, so quite busy city, and it's orderly and clean, yeah, so overall impression is quite good.
Okay.
I think the people here are generally very polite and also quite cheerful when they greet us and all.
Okay, so today I'm going to ask them a pretty tough question. It is said that Japanese people don't express what's on their mind and they don't say their opinion clearly. So I'm going to ask Singaporeans, what about them? So, Kai-sen, what about you?
Okay, so I'm currently a working adult, so I would give the perspective from the family and friends point of view, and from a working adult's point of view. So from a family and friends point of view, it is a lot more forthcoming, so it's a lot easier for us to just voice out our opinions, because it makes it a lot easier to resolve any differences that we have. However, in the working society, it is a lot harder to just voice your opinions because of fear of offending the others, your co-workers or your superiors. So it's a lot harder for us to make changes or to resolve any issues. So I believe from that point of view, it is quite similar to how Japanese the society works, where they don't really voice their opinions. But I believe for the Singapore working society, there are still avenues and channels for us to actually voice our differences, and it's improving in that sense.
Okay. So what about Ishan yourself? You're not working yet, but like so far, like, do you say what's on your mind?
I think that the younger generations in Singapore is starting to be a bit more vocal with their thoughts as compared to the older generation. So I think the younger generations now they tend to speak what's on their mind. They are a bit more brave with what they want to say, and I think that's why I think the younger Singaporeans are a bit more forthcoming with what they want to say. They're not afraid to share what's on their mind as compared to the older generations in Singapore.
Okay, so I heard a story from my student, and so I'm going to relate this story to you. She went to Germany to study music, and she told me that her teacher was boring. Okay, but so the other Japanese students, all the Japanese students in the class, they try to put up with it. They try to bear. In Japanese, they say gamma. But there was a French girl. She will either be absent or be late. And one day, the teacher asked the French girl, like, why were you absent or why were you late? And she said that directly to the teacher that I wasn't interested in the lesson. Okay, so so you can see the difference in the culture. Like the Japanese will not say, they will just put up with it. But maybe the European or the French, I don't know, they will directly say what's on your mind. Okay, so what do you think about Singaporeans?
I think that for Singapore, is there are students that will be on both ends. There are one which like the Japanese, where they will try to put up with it, try to make the most out of the lessons and be respectful to the teacher. Yeah, and then the other end, which is the European side, which will just not turn up for the lesson and just tell the teacher that they are not interested. Yeah, so I think for Singapore-wise, we still tend to be closer towards the Japanese side because we are ultimately still an Asian society. Yeah, so most of us will try to be more reserved, be respectful, as that is what we are taught when we are like young. Yeah, so the reason why we feel that there are still a certain group of people which are closer towards like, the European side is because of how social media and how we are brought up in different types of families. we have like families that are more well-to-do, where they are more westernized, and there are also more Asian-rooted families, and that's why we have like different groups of people and how they will react to these kind of situations.
Okay, so it's like half and half, like 50 and 50%.
I would say maybe
more.
like 70 towards the Asian side, yeah, maybe like 30 towards the more Western side.
Sides, okay. What about the rest? Anything else?
To add on to what Chong Wei said, it's primarily the upbringing of the child. So the Westerners typically have a more vocal approach, and they believe that anything can be resolved via communication rather than, hiding behind and just being respectful, because they believe that resolving the issue respects all parties. Whereas for Asians or for Japanese in particular, they believe that not offending the person by saying it up front, it's a form of respect and it minimizes conflict. So that is probably the main difference between the two different cultures.
So for Asian, we tend to think more about the other person's feeling.
Yes, correct.
I think a very quick example I can give, right, is because I went on exchange to Sweden, which is in Europe. So a very distinct thing that I noticed when I went for classes is European students, they tend to be more vocal and they will not be shy to raise their hand and ask questions. While in Singapore, or we live in Asia's countries, we tend to be more reserved and we are shy to ask our questions. But in Europe, if they have any questions, they just speak their mind. They will not hesitate to ask, and they are not afraid to be judged by their peers. But I think in Asia household, we have that notion of being afraid to be judged by our fellow peers, and we sometimes that made us a bit more reserved. So I really do think that it's the way that the culture of the different countries and how we are brought up that affects the way we are comfortable with speaking our mind or not.
Okay, alright.
Yeah, I think maybe another point to like add on is that I think more Western side, they are more focused on like self-interest, like ensure that we are taking care of ourselves and we are benefiting ourselves more. And then, but then in terms of like Asian cultures, it will be more towards like the community, like the greater good for everyone, collectively, and that's why I think we are more cognitive about like what other people are doing and how they feel. Yeah, make sure everybody is comfortable.
Okay, so the next story that I heard from a friend was that her son went to New Zealand for a homestay program, and he stayed with a Chinese family. And according to the son, the food was not delicious, and he didn't like it. But he couldn't say that to the host family, so he just put up with it for like 2 months. But on the other hand, some students from Australia or New Zealand came to Japan for a homestay program too, and they will tell the host family what they want to eat. They want to eat meat, and what they don't want to eat, very directly and clearly. So what about as a Singaporean? Okay, this boy is 15 years old, so if you were 15, what would you do?
I think this is a tough question because I think it depends on the individual, honestly, and maybe culture do play a part. But if it's me, I think at the age of 15, if I'm overseas on my own as well, and I have a family that's taking care of me, I would be a bit afraid to voice out my opinion that I don't like the food, because like at the end of the day, they are the one that's providing me the accommodation, they're taking care of my safety as well. So I think at the age of 15, I might put up with it and just, it's a meal, it's nutritious, so I'll take it down. Yeah. But now, I think not if let's say I were to go on an exchange and stay in a host family, I think I am better now at phrasing the way I say things. So I think I will let them know that actually I do not really like this food that you have prepared. Okay, maybe not in the way I just said it, but I'll phrase my words in a better scenario to bring it across it nicely to the host family.
I guess at the age of 15, I would probably still voice out, but not directly to the host. I'm guessing because it's a homestay, there must be some sort of authoritative figure that assign all of this. Yeah, coordinator. So I'll probably voice out to the coordinator to feedback to the host family to see whether there is any possible changes that can be made, rather than confronting directly saying, hey, I do not like your food and I wish that this could be changed. Yeah. So I believe
not
that's
directly but through a coordinator.
Correct. I believe it's still the roundabout way of not having a direct confrontation, but for 2 months not enjoying the food, it's honestly quite a hassle and quite a torturous session. But so I believe that it is in everyone's interest to actually be able to voice their opinion, to at least have some sort of change, to reach a compromise. Yeah.
Okay.
I think for me, maybe like the rest, 15, I probably wouldn't like voice out anything. And I think honestly, even like now, I don't think I'll vocally say it that I don't really like the food. Yeah, because we want to be like respectful, right? And grateful to their hospitality. Yeah, but I think what I'll do is I'll more of like hinting in terms of like body language and like how like maybe when I'm eating the food, maybe I'll like drink more water or like, I don't know, like eat very quickly, maybe to show a little bit that maybe I'm not very used to the food. Yeah, maybe try to get them to like ask me whether how I find the food, or whether I'm I am integrating well. Yeah, then maybe through that conversation, that I'll voice out that actually I'm not very used to the food. Yeah.
For me, actually, Chong Wei said what I wanted to say. Yeah, I think for 15 years old me, I wouldn't say I won't confront them that I don't like the food, but because like Yi-Xuan, I also feel bad, like the person really hosting me, then why am I making like requirements? Yeah, so I think for me also, even now when I go to someone else's house, I'm quite a picky eater, so if I see things that I don't like, I will just not take the food, or I take very minimally. Then hopefully the person will ask me, is it you don't eat this? Or then I'll be like, yeah, actually I don't really eat this. Or like I don't eat spicy or kind of thing. Then just kind of like a hoping that the person will notice, then ask me instead. Then I'll have a chance to come in without seeming like I'm disrespectful. Yeah, so I think it's quite similar to, I guess, Japanese, like when they want to say no, or they want to say like choto, like they won't really say like I don't want, or I don't want to do this. Yeah.
I see, but I guess for a 15-year-old Japanese boy who is not fluent in English, I think it is very hard for him to express himself in a tactful way. Okay, right. So thank you very much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so
Thank you very much.
bye.
Bye.